Growing up in a big family, life was never dull, but it was far from easy. I was born into a vibrant culture, a place where family is supposed to be everything, but my childhood was shaped by the echoes of unspoken pain. My mother, bless her heart, was carrying a heavy load of her own past traumas, and she never really learned how to set them down. Her unresolved anger often spilled over, and as a kid, I was the one who got caught in the storm. The punishments were harsh, fueled by a rage she couldn't control, and with every undeserved outburst, I started to see her less as a mom and more as just a person who was hurting. It was confusing. All I wanted was to be a kid too. Feel safe, but the lines were always blurry in our house. My real father wasn't in the picture, and for the longest time I thought it was all his fault. My mom painted him as the villain in our story. She spoke about him with such bitterness, and I, being a kid, just absorbed it all. But deep down, I still yearned for him. I wanted to know my dad, to have him around, even if it was just for a little while. As I got older, I started to understand that his story wasn't so black and white either. He had his own demons, his own unhealed wounds. He made his mistakes, and I came to realize that hurt people often end up hurting others, sometimes without even meaning to. It was a cycle, and I was born right in the middle of it. Thankfully, there was a steady hand in my life, my stepfather. He was a good man, a truly good man. He saw what was happening. He knew when my mother's discipline crossed the line from parenting into something else, especially when she had been drinking. He would step in quietly but firmly and defend me. He couldn't fix everything, but his presence was a shield. He was the calm in my personal storm, and I'll forever be grateful for that. He and my mom had 2 kids together, into the bustling household. In total, there were 8 of us. My 5 older siblings were from my dad, except for my oldest sister who had a different father. But to me, none of that mattered. They were my brothers and sisters, period. We were blood. We had our fights and our differences, like all siblings do, but we were a unit, a chaotic, complicated, but unbreakable unit. School was my escape. I'd bury my head in books, trying to build a different world for myself on the pages. But the outside world has a way of creeping in. Around the age of 12, I was introduced to a completely different side of life. My cousins on my dad's side of the family were running with gangs, smoking weed, and living a life I only saw in movies. I was curious, I was young, I wanted to fit in somewhere. I don't blame them. We all make our own choices, but looking back, man, 12 years old is just so young. Before I knew it, I was caught up. That path led me straight to juvenile probation and a rebellious streak that I couldn't shake. I felt like I was living 2 lives, the quiet kid in the classroom and the troubled teen on the streets. Absconding from juvenile probation was one of the wildest times of my life. I was on the run, constantly looking over my shoulder. It was a chaotic period of trials and tribulations. To make ends meet, I spent most of my teenage years working in construction. It was tough, back-breaking work, but what was harder was the way people treated me. People I knew, people I thought were friends, would belittle me, talk down to me like I was nothing. I always held my ground. I never let them see it get to me, but their words stung. They planted a seed of doubt inside me, a feeling that maybe they were right. It bothered me more than I ever let on, but through it all I was learning. I was a survivor. I started picking up on new ways to make money, new strategies to get by. Some were good, some were not so good. I was hustling, in every sense of the word, picking up both new skills and new bad habits along the way. I was just trying to navigate a world that felt like it was set up for me to fail. Then I turned 19. 19 is a strange age. You're not a kid anymore, but you're definitely not a full-fledged adult either. It's an in-between. Time, a crossroads. And for me, that's when everything started to shift. A series of events was set in motion that would change the entire course of my life, for better or for worse, for right or for wrong. Honestly, I'm still figuring that out. The path I was on took a sharp, unexpected turn, and I was launched into a future I could never have imagined. My story was far from over. In many ways, it was just beginning. And that's where we'll leave it for now. This was just the beginning of my journey. The mistakes, the lessons, the moments that defined me. There's so much more to tell. What happened after I turned 19? How did I start to break the cycle? It's a wild ride, and I hope you'll stick around to hear the rest of it. Thanks for listening to my story today. If any of this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because you won't want to miss the next episode. Stay tuned.